One, two, one, two. Testes, testes. Good morning, everybody. It is 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. I am Dan Auslander, your System Scheduling Committee Planning Chairman. And on the chat with me this morning is Cameron Laramie Gonzalez, the System Scheduling Committee Chairman. And we are here today to do the PVBM walkthrough and then a live Q&A session here on PVBM and on the current system bid, which is open. If you do have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box, and we will either answer them in the process of walking through PVBM, or we will come back to them at the end after we've done the quick walkthrough. So on the screen right now, you should be seeing the PVBM home screen. I am using mine as an example. Yours will look very similar, other than the fact that you will probably have different, well, not probably, will definitely have different award history on the main section than I do. But when you enter PVBM, this is what we are looking at, and just a quick tour for a couple of minutes of what goes on here in PVBM. Of course, first thing, most importantly, to get there, you can access it directly from any web browser at pvbm.jetblue.com. And in that case, you're logging in directly with your JetBlue credentials. Alternately, if you have the JetBlue iPad in your hand, there is what the company calls a web clip, basically a link that is on the home screen of the iPad with the PVBM logo, and tapping that will simply open Safari and bring you into PVBM directly. So once you get here on the home screen, there's a few functional buttons. Over in the top left corner is what they call the hamburger, which is just a little set of three lines. All that does is open or close the left-hand column, which is the data strip and kind of directory walkthrough portion. Uh, it's useful if you're working on a smaller format device. Sometimes you may need to do it on an iPad. Working on a PC screen, it's really not typically necessary to close that out. Uh, in the section that, as you're seeing it right now, is behind the MEC logo because it's personal information. You will find the your personal information block. That's going to include your current status, your employee number, your seniority number, and your birth date. The birth date is important because that is what it is basing all of the age calculations, including whether or not you're within 2 years of retirement on. So it's worth verifying that that's accurate. Everyone will say yes for down bid approved because there's no longer an FOM restriction on uh, bidding yourself back down to FO if you're a captain. So that's very important to think about when filling out bid sheets. And then if you have never been a captain on the JetBlue property, uh, it will say Y next to first time captain. That is also an important marker because a first time upgrade will release you from any equipment freeze that may otherwise be in play. So, going down, the next thing we have is the My Bids drop down. And when you open that up, that opens bid windows as well. So, this is the access point to all of the bid sheets. And then the other drop down here is awards, which lets you see your awards both for the current bid and also for anything in history. So, looking in the My Bids section here for just a moment, there are 4 bid sheets available right now because there is a vacancy bid currently open. The top 3, the standing vacancy bid, standing involuntary displacement bid, and standing voluntary displacement bid, are always available because those are standing bid sheets, which means they are there no matter what. They function much like your default bid does in PBS, which is to say they will uh, be the bids that are used and are triggered uh, should you not enter a vacancy bid sheet for the bid. Then your standing vacancy bid will be used. Uh, so, opening up the standing vacancy bid, mine right now is blank. If you are intending on remaining in your current position, you want to ensure that this standing vacancy bid is blank. Why? Because if you do not have a vacancy bid sheet, but you do have content in your standing vacancy bid, that will be, pardon me, having an audio issue here just a moment. If you have a standing vacancy bid sheet but do not have a vacancy bid sheet for the vacancy in progress, your standing vacancy bid will be run. And if, for example, in a prior award you got the Kennedy 220 captain, however, your standing vacancy bid sheet hadn't been touched in a few years and it still had an FO position that you previously had targeted, that standing vacancy bid sheet can be read and you can be downgraded uh, unintentionally because the standing vacancy bid sheet is in force if you have content in it and you do not have a vacancy bid sheet for this vacancy. So, that said, we're going to leave the standing vacancy bid sheet alone. I'm perfectly happy with mine having nothing on it because I don't want PVBM doing something without my willful intent in the current bid window. The next 2 sheets are the involuntary and the voluntary displacement bid sheets. Those are always there. However, they are not in force unless we are in a bid window with displacements. This bid window does not have displacements, so those bid sheets are not in force at this time. Uh, they're there. They sit there. The only time they'd be looked at is if a displacement were in progress. The involuntary, of course, is if you are forced out of your position because your seniority can no longer hold it. The voluntary is if you willfully want to use displacement as a tool to go somewhere. But setting those aside, because there is no displacement in play in this current system bid, uh, what I think everybody is most interested in is the vacancy bid sheet. So when you open the vacancy bid sheet, it shows the details of the bid window. It is a 2027 annual system bid. It opened on 8/3. It closes on 8/17 at noon Eastern. So it is open for 14 days. It is currently open. Uh, Going down here, we have the effective date list. There is only one effective date. So it is a link. I can click on it, but nothing changes because it's the only one that's going to show. This rather lengthy scrollable list here of all the statuses shows every status in the company. Yes, the 190 is still there. Yes, there's a reason the 190 is still there. Uh, it is simply there because there are currently still pilots who exist in the system. They are offline, but they are in uh, those statuses. For example, pilots who have been on leave for a lengthy period of time and left active off of the 190 status. They are still there in the system, therefore the statuses still show. But as those pilots return to other statuses or retire from the company, they will eventually go away. But it has not happened yet. There's still a handful of pilots there. So the statuses remain. They are not available. Obviously, the fleet no longer exists. But looking at uh, the statuses available, 320 is listed by base Captain FO, Captain FO, and then below that the 220 by base Boston, Kennedy, Lauderdale, Captain, and FO. Uh, any vacancy that has a positive number, for example, here 19 on Lauderdale 220 Captain, those pilots are currently or those vacancies are currently available. Right now, there are 70 active pilots in the status. The company would like 89 there, so there are 19 Lauderdale 220 captain positions at least available on this bid. And I say at least because I expect that may change. The reason that may change is because there are also Fort Lauderdale 320 captain vacancies. There are 34 of those, so it is entirely possible that pilots who were awarded Lauderdale 220 captain on this last bid may choose to go to Lauderdale 320 captain. So there may be more uh, Lauderdale 220 captains than 19 awarded. For those of you who have only been around for a few years who don't remember the big bids that used to happen in the company's prior growth phase, there are routinely backfills as long as we don't have negatives in the vacancy targets. So uh, should pilots bid out of Lauderdale 220 captain, uh, PVBM will continue awarding that status until there is a net of positive 19 in that status. Okay, so I mentioned the negatives briefly, and let's talk a little bit about how the negatives work. As I've said, they are not displacements. There are no displacements happening in this system bid. But what is going on there with the negatives is that many pilots need to leave the status prior to any backfills being placed into the status. So right now there are 454 active JFK 320 captains since I'm on this line. The target is 424. So if up to 30 pilots bid out of JFK 320 captain, they will not backfill any. Should 31 pilots bid out of JFK 320 captain, then one pilot will be backfilled into the status and so on. I'm pausing for a second to look at questions. I see a couple of questions there. I understand they're there. They're not not exactly on where we are right now in the tour, so I will answer those in just a couple of minutes. I just want to see if there's anything specific to where we are right now. Okay. So, uh, looking at how we build a bid sheet, and I'm going to build a bid here while we are talking. First thing is we have to fill in this maximum bid awards. It is required. There is only a single vacancy on this bid, a single effective date, I should say. So you can select any number you want. I could say I want 10 awards, but the reality is only one award is possible on this particular system bid. However, the number still does need to be selected. You cannot submit a bid sheet. It's not considered valid without uh, a number in the drop down box there. So let's add some bid lines, and that will get me to answering the question about percentage calculations as we get there. I click the add bid line, and it pops up this box here that allows me to select the position I want to bid. It's a little drop down menu. Again, I will say please exercise caution here because captain and first officer for each base and fleet are adjacent. It is not all the captains, then all the FOs. So if, for example, I intended to bid Boston SQ captain, but I missed only slightly, I could drop in a bid line for Boston SQ FO, which I did not intend to do. However, it would be there, and if that bid was submitted, it would be processed. Effective dates are required drop down, but as I said again, there's only one effective date there, so uh, any is not an available option this time, like it was last year with multiple effective dates, and so 5/1/27 is the only thing in that drop down menu. And then there's a question of percentage, and let's say, for example, I wanted to go to BSQ captain, but only if I could do it at 75% or better. I could enter 75% there, click save, and it has now built that bid line. Question from a member: what is the denominator in a percentage calculation? Total active or target pilots? That's a great question. The denominator is target pilots. So you are bidding against the status as it is intended to be at the end of the bid. Looking at BSQ captain, because that's what we're talking about right now. Currently, there are 65 active. The goal is 85. That's the target pilots, therefore 20 vacancies. So, should I be bidding that as a percentage, as I just did there at 75%? This is I picked one where the math isn't going to be easy to do in my head. But should I do that at 75%, I should be no lower than the 63rd pilot in the status to receive the award, 75% of the 85 target pilots. That said, there can be a bit of variance in that, and the reason there can be a bit of variance is because PVBM is looking at the system as it stands when it processes your specific bid line. So if it processes you and then uh, something happens elsewhere which would actually cause a person senior to you to leave the status, your percentage may be slightly better than the trigger percentage. Should something happen that causes someone junior to leave the status, and you may end up then getting replaced by someone senior, your percentage could actually come out slightly worse. That said, it is not significant. It maybe just a percent or a couple percent in a smaller status. The only time when that has led to big swings because of replacements happening around you is during a displacement because involuntaries are processed bottom to top. But in this bid without displacements, it would only be potentially a small percentage swing. And when I said, for example, someone junior to you leaves and that allows someone senior to come in, yes, that can happen because if someone has a percentage bid that is not filled when PVBM gets to them, it goes back and checks later anytime that status has an alteration to see if the percentage bid can now be filled. And so what is happening there is that the status change, whatever it was of somebody leaving, let's say somebody had a 60% bid and they would have processed at 60.5, but somebody junior bids elsewhere, which now means that uh, relatively they're slightly more senior, then it may come back and now they might process in at 59.9 and therefore be awarded. So as I said, you can move slightly, but it's not huge numbers. The other thing to keep in mind is in a new status that is filling for the first time and may not completely fill, or any status that may not completely fill, because the target number is the denominator for a percentage, you may end up uh, with your percentage bid filled, but if the status does not fill, you will be, in fact, a lower percentage than you were expecting. That happened when we opened San Juan in the second round of uh, bidding for San Juan. When they increased the status size, uh, they did not have enough takers to fill the positions, and therefore pilots who put in like a 60 or 70% bid ended up actually being the last couple of pilots, and that was problematic. However, that's not a situation that I would expect to see here, because the only significant FO vacancies that we are looking at in this bid are here at Lauderdale 220. There's a bunch. Kennedy 220 has a few. San Juan 320 has a few, and Lauderdale 320 quite a few. BSQ 320 quite a few. Uh, Specifically speaking of Fort Lauderdale, and then to some extent Boston as well, those are statuses that typically fill completely. They're not statuses that have ever had significant numbers of vacancies left at the bottom of the bid. Kennedy 220, I expect there will be some vacancies left. San Juan 320, there will be some vacancies left. So be careful if you are using percentage bids into those statuses to recognize that they will probably not fill completely. Uh, the intention of this bid this time around is that the FOs do not 100% fill completely, because there have to be FO vacancies. Uh, if there are no FO vacancies remaining, the whole thing essentially ends up being locked up at the end with there being no vacancy for anybody to process. So there do have to end up being some FO vacancies, typically at the bottom of the bid, and this is where the company has chosen to put them this time. My expectation is every captain vacancy everywhere in the system fills. Historically, we have never left captain vacancies on the table in any bid at JetBlue, but it is plausible there will be some FO statuses that do not fill 100%, and that is very typical of a system that is in motion and that has pilots coming in and going out, as opposed to a list that is stagnant. So let's add a few more bid lines here. Let's say the next choice that I wanted was to go to Fort Lauderdale in the left seat. So I might bid Lauderdale 320 captain, let's say at 80%. And then I might bid Lauderdale 220 captain. I'm currently a 220 pilot, so that would be a viable move for me. So we'll bid that. Let's do that at 80, call that one 85%. And let's throw one more in here. San Juan captain. There are not currently vacancies in San Juan captain. However, some people may come out of that status and say, if I can get in there at 70%, it's interesting to me, so I will bid that as well. So I have now loaded 4 bids into my vacancy bid sheet. However, this vacancy bid sheet is not yet effective. And the reason it's not yet effective is that I have not submitted it. So I'm going to come down here now. When the submit all bids button is orange, that means it's active, it's available. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to get a confirmation pop-up box. Are you sure? Yes, I do want to submit it. And you can see once the little spinning wheels are done, that now the submit bids is grayed out because nothing has changed. So there's nothing to submit. And now I have the clear all submitted bids button available. And that button available indicates that there is a bid on this bid sheet on the server, so I have the option to clear it. And the other way I know that this bid sheet is on the server is that I have this little message right here, which in fact is a link. Last bid submitted 8/7/2026, 11:24 Eastern. So at that time, I submitted a vacancy bid sheet to the server. Now, let's just talk for a minute about editing bid sheets, and then we'll go back and look at bid records. So if I look at this and say, yeah, this is cool, but in fact, I'd rather do Lauderdale than BSQ. We have the little up and down arrows here, and the arrows belong to the bid item on the line. So if I want to, let's say, put BSQ down to the third place, I'm going to click this arrow that's moved it down to the second place, and then I'll click it again. Now it's the third place. So now I have Lauderdale 320, Lauderdale 220, BSQ, and then San Juan as my choices. And you can see the submit button has turned orange again. That's because something has changed since the last time the bid was submitted. So now, if I want to make this my valid bid on the server, I'm going to go ahead and hit the submit button again. And once again, it's going to say, "Are you sure?" Yes, I'm sure. And away it goes back to the server. And now this time has changed. 11:25 is the submitted time. And so this is now the active bid sheet for me. Let's say I wanted to edit a bid line. I want to maybe change a percentage. Say I really, really want that Lauderdale 320 captain if I can hold it no matter what. So I want to take the 80% out. I can click on the little pencil that lets me edit the bid line. Brings up a little pop-up that says edit bid, and I'm going to take that top percentage, which is not a required field, and just delete it. So now if I go back and look at my bid sheet, that top percentage is blank. Blank is equivalent to 100%. You could also fill the field in with the 100 and it would do exactly the same thing. But either way, that bid sheet is now, or that bid line is now saying if any vacancy, even the very last vacancy for Lauderdale 320 captain is available when PVBM gets to me, it will fill me into that status. And I like that, and I'm happy with that bid sheet. So once again, I hit submit. Are you sure? Yes, you're sure. And away it goes. So this now leads me to the discussion of the bid submission log. And there are two ways to get there. First thing is over on the left side, there is a link to submission log, and that brings you to kind of a top overall record of every submission. But specifically, if I go back to the vacancy bid sheet and I click that, that is going to bring me now to the bid submission log for my vacancy bid sheet, which is exactly what I'm looking at because that's the one that I altered today. And if I look at my history, I can see every time that I have submitted a vacancy bid sheet. And I get uh, a number of hits here. The reason, of course, being that I'm using my PVBM file, working in my live bid here to do these live streams. So, for example, I did actually put in a bid that was my intentional bid a few days ago to develop the bid sheet that I wanted for myself, and that was a create. And then this morning, right before we started the live stream, I deleted it so that I would have a blank bid sheet to demonstrate from. And then we created a fresh bid sheet, and then we updated it, and that brings us up to the present time. Should I scroll down here, this will take me back to the 2020 annual system bid, which was the very first time that we used PVBM to bid here at JetBlue. And The very first time that I created a bid sheet, I have 45 vacancy bid sheets on file for myself, but they are all here. The plus button opens it up so you can open up any of these individual bid sheets to have a look at them and see what's inside. I'm going to look at the one we just submitted just because we've all seen it just now. Uh, Open the header line, then we open the bids, and it's going to show from and to, which is basically the before and after of the bid sheet. Remember specifically what I did on the last submission was to take out the seniority percentage for Lauderdale 320 captain. So here I can see how the bid sheet was before and what the bid sheet became. And that is tagged with this submission time here. So I know it's the most recent one, and that is my bid sheet in force. This should also generate for you an email in your company email inbox showing a record of the bid. However, that is less than 100% reliable. Some pilots have reported never receiving them. Some pilots get them intermittently. Other pilots get them every single time they do this. The actual de facto record and the solid basis for dispute, should there be one, is this bid submission log right here. I have just to experiment and to verify, I have built bid sheets knowing exactly what time I changed them and what I changed, and then I've gone back to my counterparts in crew staffing and said, "Hey, can you pull the logs so I can side by side compare them?" And these are completely reliable and accurate to what is on the server. So, uh, if I want to look at another log, if I want to look at a log for a standing vacancy bid or one of the displacement bids or when we had to do a cancellation bid sheet, those are all in there. But effectively, what you're looking for is to be able to confirm that your current requested bid was received. The last thing over here to look at is the bid status tool. The bid status tool is simply an analytic to show you where you will come out relative to another uh, bidder or to all the bidders currently in the status or expected to be in the status. Let me grab something here where I know I'm going to pop up right in the middle. So I'm going to grab, for example, Boston 320 SQFO. And if I want to see where I personally would be today in that position, I can select that. It does the little spinny thing that it does while it's calculating. And here I am. I would be, as it says at the top, 7. So I would be 7th out of the 116 pilots who are currently in that status. I can then take it out to the 127, which is, of course, already been awarded, so it's known. Does anything change? In fact, does not, because nothing happens to those 6 pilots who are currently in that status in front of me. Uh, and then you could do the same for any effective date that's still in the future. Interesting thing to know, for example, I'm going to grab Lauderdale 320 Captain, which I know that I cannot hold. It'll show me there. It'll show me as 334. But if I go pull myself to the bottom, in fact, there are 333 pilots. That last pilot is about 140 seniority numbers ahead of me. And then there I am sitting on the bottom of the list. That is kind of an artifact of the system because, in fact, you cannot hold that. Anything that you would show up at the hard bottom of that is an existing status and does not have vacancies right now, you can't hold it. Now, could I get there on that 5-1 bid? Maybe I can. And I say maybe I can because uh, after the 1-1, and this is one, for example, where you see a significant change. If I bring that back to today and let it recalculate again, uh, you'll see that the spaces right in front of me are not necessarily the same. And the reason that is the case is that uh, pilots are coming into that status on 1-1. If I pull it down to 5-1, I know there's another 30 vacancies there. Again, it still shows me at the bottom because right now the last awarded pilot is still that same person, still senior to me. I don't know what's going to happen in those intervening spaces. I know there's 34 vacancies and it's 140 pilots roughly between that pilot and myself. Is it plausible that I could hold it? Sure. Am I going to be very, very junior even if I do hold it? Yes, absolutely. So that tool is useful to some extent. Another thing that is useful though is to go onto the crew planning website where the monthly awards are posted, and by opening any given award and finding uh, where your seniority would fall on the sheet, excuse me, by finding where your seniority would fall on the sheet, it does not necessarily show where you will be after the next award. However, it shows you right now, today, in the most recent award at Flying, which right now would be the August bid month, and September will be visible, which is not a summer peak month prior to this bid closing. It shows you and allows you to look and see what kind of flying someone around your seniority right now is capable of holding uh, in that base. So it's just another tool that's available within the company's resources to look at and to see what is going on, and where you could end up and what it would look like for you. Uh, Going back to our question list here for a minute, I have one. If awarded a Lauderdale 220 captain in the supplemental, so you've already been awarded that, and not started training yet, can you bid Lauderdale 320 captain in the system bid? Yes, absolutely, you can. Uh, any award that incurs a freeze, the freeze does not does not go active until your first home study date. That is when you officially enter the training program for that new status, and that is when any freeze associated with that new status goes into play. So, should you be in a position to have received an award on the supplemental bid, which has the January 1st effective date, even if that training is in September, should you receive something else on this annual system bid with the May effective date, which would supersede that prior award and would not have you go to training in September, our expectation and our understanding with the company is that they will honor all of those awards and will not lock somebody into a training cycle, assuming the new award is known prior to entering that training cycle. That said, it does not take the company the full 3 weeks to actually process the awards. The biggest chunk of time in that is the processing and assigning of the training dates and training footprints to everyone. So there have been cases in the past, and I expect there will be cases again with this bid where uh, probably a week or so after the bid closes, crew staffing will start contacting some individual pilots and say, "Hey, just want to let you know you've received a new award. You are no longer going to go to training here coming up in September. That'll be blanked off of your line, and you'll see a new and different award when the awards are published." So that is entirely within the company's discretion to do. They are not obligated to do so. They could let the training start and let the freeze go into force. However, they know that you're then going to not be satisfied with that position and probably bidding out of it again as soon as the freeze is up, and uh, they don't want to put you through two transition training cycles any more than you want to do that. So uh, typically, they have been identifying those pilots, contacting them, and informing them that their award has been superseded. Specifically, in that case, if you had a training block already on your master schedule for September, because of course the September awards will be published here in the next couple of days, uh, that credit should remain because it has been on your master schedule. However, the training days will just be uh, removed and converted to blank space. Okay, are there any other questions? We've pretty much talked through the system and how everything works here. We've got about 20 minutes left of the stream, and so if anybody has any questions, I see there's about 30 of you watching live right now. Please go ahead and drop those in the chat box, and we will answer them and or demonstrate them live if it's something related, for example, to a bid sheet and how to set something up. I will pause just for a minute for anyone to drop some questions in, and I will be right back. All right, welcome back. So I see a question there from Britain, and Cameron's answered it. And so just to briefly cover it, the situation I previously described, which is a situation in which the award that you've received is on your schedule with training in September. That award is superseded, therefore it's vacated. Uh, it does not does not necessarily result in paid month off, and the reason for that is twofold. First, being that you could have uh, other activities, you could have pairings, reserve on your line prior to those home study days. The very earliest home study I think was September 3rd or 4th, just as an example. But there's many pilots who had training activity starting the 3rd or 4th week of September. So for those pilots, there's still going to be at least a partial award in front. The drop days would be pay protected. However, the remainder of the schedule still exists. Next question. Oh, I guess it's already been answered, but I'll discuss it anyway. A quick reminder on what to bid if we do not want to change anything or remain in our current position. bid nothing, as Cameron said in the chat there. If you are satisfied, and let me get back to PVBM here. If you are satisfied with your current position, your vacancy bid sheet should be blank because you want to go nowhere. And your standing vacancy bid sheet should also be blank. That will ensure that PVBM does not move you anywhere in this vacancy processing. But if you've got further specifics on how Line may or may not build out, we may have to take it offline just to discuss your individual details. As Cameron said, there's fairly infinite hypotheticals on how a line could or could not build out. All right, are there other questions? Okay, I'm going to leave the chat open and the stream open for just a couple more minutes here in case any other members would like to drop a question in. As we're waiting, just a reminder that the PVBM Quick Reference Handbook document is available. It's updated every time for every bid with specific details and specific Q&A related to that bid. The link is a sticky here on the chat, and that document is available both from the SSC page within the MAC site and also from the information emails that went out both from the company and from Alpa when the bid opened on Monday. All right, seeing no further questions at this time. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody coming by to learn and to chat with us today. We're going to be back again at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific this afternoon to do this one more time. And other than that, any questions that you may have, please submit a scheduling PDR. Please do not wait until the very last day before the bid closes, and the scheduling committee will do their very best to answer those questions and to get you the information that you need to submit the bid that you want. Thank you, everybody, and have a great weekend.